want to help them. We don't think this program shall focus on that we share with each other on good platforms designated to their form, educate, and other community adjustment and abroad. No rational comments or opinions are regarded as irrelevant as your comments and participation could prove to be a cornerstone of our goal, being to restore ethics, integrity, respect, and progress, and efforts to reach for a better future in all aspects of the everyday lives of the whole family and our children. We now join the host, Holly Shanshay, and guests, to use standing for people here together we can. Usually, on the world of the community, we are going to touch on the living people. Good evening, good evening. It's 7 p.m. and it's Wednesday. And I'm trying to get my Facebook to work correctly here. Seems like every time I get in the studio, it don't want to work. I have people who are watching on Facebook. I'm trying to accommodate them. I also do a live stream on YouTube. So I want people to know that, along with this program that I do here, along at the time that I'm doing this program here, I'm trying to be on Facebook and on YouTube. So let's hope everything works well. Now, Facebook don't want to work tonight as usual. But anyway, we're going to go on with our program. We're going to get that fixed at some point. But, as I say, this program is brought to you by the people. That is, people who want to know facts, like we used to put on the air, Views from the Black Side. That was some years ago on Friday night. I used to do that with Mr. Tisdale, the late publisher of the Jackson Advocate newspaper. But now he's gone to his reward, and people say, Shamsonine, we don't want you to stop. We want you to continue to bring us facts that we can deal with. Now, I want you to know this is a call-in show, 601 5950-8948. I would get that wrong, and I should have it by now after these years. 948-5950. 948-5950. That's the call-in. Now, this is not a gossip show, so I'm not here to talk about anybody's personal life. We want to talk about things that we can do something about. We can't do anything about somebody's personal life unless it's got something to do with how they're spending our tax money. But we want to bring facts that we can think about. It's two things that I want to because I've learned through the years. And they ring so true. There's a term I learned a long time ago. They say you can't fix stupid. And I always say on this program, we as a people, I mean African American, we're not dumb and we're not stupid. Now, when they brought us over here as slaves, they used that reasoning in their mind that we were not quite developed as human beings and we are incapable of thinking on the level of a human being. Here we are humans, look like humans, but to them, they want to believe in their mind that we're incapable of thinking on the sophisticated level of a human being. Now, we've shown them consistently better than that, but some, like the Charlie Kirk mentalities, refuse to believe that. They don't want to tell the world that even after slavery, there was laws implemented to keep African Americans from advancing. They don't want to tell the world that America instituted law, North and South, instituted laws that said African Americans had to be treated differently than white citizens. So when they look at us and they say, why ain't they advancing? They're lazy, all they want is welfare. There are so many white people in this country that don't even believe, that don't know that welfare, public assistance was not created solely to help black people. It wasn't created for black people at all, for that matter, because there are more white people on public assistance than there are, and it always has been. That's what it was created for. That's who they were created that for. So that they instill that attitude in the populace that black people are somewhat born dumb, born stupid, or just unintelligent. And guess what? They train some of us, even though when they look in the mirror, they see a black person. They train some of us to go right along with that thinking. Somehow or another, they don't fit in that category because some white people have told them you're different. Now, why am I saying all of this? Because in what we see right now happening, that they're trying to take us back. They're trying to take us back to the 1930s, when they could do anything they wanted to us, legally, or, well, mostly it was legally because the law supported them, or illegally, period. We had to get off the sidewalk when they come. When we went in their stores, we had to say, better say Mr. Better. Some young child, 5, little miss, and little miss. We had to do it. They want to take us back to that. But there's another saying, you can't free a slave and think you're going to put him back into slavery. You can't do it. Not when they taste what freedom is like. So what they do, they try to get us to go along with them in their scheme. But there's another saying I learned to be so true. And that is, you can always count on the devil to overdo it. When they get away with some, they think they can get away with everything. That's the devil mentality. When they get away with a little evil, they think, okay, the door is open, I can do all the evil I want. That's what we're seeing now. But remember that other saying, you can't free a slave and then put him back in slave. See, when they brought our ancestors over here, they didn't bring them straight, a lot of people think that too. They didn't bring them straight from Africa and then into America. They didn't do that until the last segment of slavery. They brought them to the Caribbean. That's why you had all of us out there outnumbering white folks in the Caribbean, in the islands. They brought them there. Let them have children. And then ship the children to America. Because the children know nothing else but what they were being taught. There's a real scheme to this thing. So we have to show them, no, we're not stupid. Once we learn, once we see, we get an experience. Once we are told good advice, we know how to follow. Now, the white community has had a 200-year head start on us in politics. Because as we know, particularly here in Mississippi, we couldn't even get involved in politics until the early 70s, 1969, 1970. They didn't start integrating the schools here in Mississippi until 1969 because of that mentality that they had. So now we are generations now. We've seen, we had the chance to see what the political systems are like, and now we need to watch, observe, get involved. That's why I say register and vote. Register and vote. You've heard it. We got the Charlie Kirk mentality that's prevalent here in Mississippi. when Charlie Kirk was killed, there was a special memorial here in Mississippi with the governor and everybody about Charlie Kirk. Jesse Jackson died. Not one word was said statewide. Not one word. So they're bringing us to the point that they have brought us to the point that, we really have to be more involved. We've been kept out of things. Well, that's why I said we've been ignorant. We ain't stupid. We've been ignorant. And rightfully so, when we start putting black faces in some of these positions that has authority, by and large, we've been putting the wrong ones there. You can look around us and see that. And like I don't have any friends that's political or politicians. But by and large, we see what we have benefited from by putting us in office, the wrong ones. I ain't saying, okay, now we need to stop putting black folks in office. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it mixed up. We need to look, observe, and realize who we putting in these positions. Because if they ain't gonna get any better, they shouldn't get more than one term from us. From us. And this goes statewide. Now with this new redistricting that now they want to do now that the Trump administration have made it, and now Supreme Court with our black members of the Supreme Court still sitting there, they can redraw the line if the right lines were drawn for racial parity, or to give certain races what they call an advantage. Well, if you're not going to draw them for racial purposes, why are you redrawing? What reason is that? If you're not drawing them now for racial purposes, why are you redrawing? See, but you see a state like Mississippi, we're the number one state. Listen to me, hear me. We're the number one state in the country with the highest percentage of African Americans in its population. We used to, at one time, until the late 1930s and early 1940s, we used to outnumber white people in Mississippi. We did. And that's when the Ku Klux Klan and the White Citizens Council come up. Their aim was to put so much pressure with their lynchings and intimidation tactics to run black people out of Mississippi, and they did. That's why they call Chicago, Mississippi up north. What we do, jumped in the vehicle, or on the train, or whatever, we went straight north, basically. Chicago and Detroit. But now we're coming back. They see that. They observe that. Now here we are, almost 40% of the population. They see we're growing and they're shrinking. So they're trying to fight that. We got 28 counties in Mississippi that's predominantly black right now. 28 out of the 82. And a lot more of those are getting to that point. You see, historically, what they have done, they understand this. When you keep people in a position that they so worried about how they're going to keep their lights on, how they're going to feed themselves and their children tomorrow, let alone today, how they're going to pay their house note, whether they're renting or buying. When you keep people in that condition, they don't have time. They don't have time to think about much else. They can't plan for 10 years down the road like the white community could. They can't plan for 20 years down the road like the white community could. But we ain't in that shape today. Yes, a lot of us are still heavily struggling, and I ain't gonna say that. But we have come to the point that we can think beyond tomorrow. Now we got to use that ability. We got to register and vote. Period. That way we won't have governors making fun of black people as a whole with Mississippi, but the Jackson because it's predominantly black or Hinds County. Or senators up there in D.C. that care nothing about what affects us, African American community. Nothing. We can prevent that. Register and vote. You see, back in the 60s, we had to march, we had to demonstrate, we had to sit in, had to get beat over the head by police, attacked by police dogs, fire hoses turned on us, and those fire hoses, it's like a power steamer. You ever put your hand in front of a power steamer and you got a fire hose now turning it on people? We don't have to do that now. We did that then to show the rest of the world what we were going through here in Mississippi. We have to get very dramatic with it. What the whole world is watching now. The whole world knows Jackson has a black mayor and a majority on the city council, a super majority. The whole world knows that Hinds County have 5 supervisors that run the county, and all 5 of them are black. The whole world knows that. The whole world knows our school board has a super majority, 5 out of 7, and the superintendent over there, whatever they call them now, the 22 under the superintendent, all making over 100 grand a year. Superintendent making 280. I think they're giving him another raise, could be 300 and something a year now for a C-rated school district and less than 17,000 students. Why do they do that? We just have to stand back and take a look at it. Why do they do that? Because they think they want to think that we're stupid. Really. Now I'm just putting it out there. But at the very least, they think we don't get involved. And then even more so than that, they only tell us what they think they want us to know, as opposed to what we should be demanding as citizens. You know, everything that's in our community is supposed to be community-based. I don't care if it's the bank. I don't care if it's the phone company. I don't care who it is. It's supposed to be designed to help the community progress. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the Hope Credit Union. I'm going to learn. But we need to know, how many black businesses are you funding? And then any bank in our community. A black person that's getting ready to open a business shouldn't have to scuffle and serve and scrape and every dime they can save to open a business. They should be able to walk into a bank, talk to a bank manager and say, I want to open such and such business. Here's my business plan. Take a look at it and tell me exactly what I need. And then loan it to me. Here we are in 2026 and that's not happening. Why? Because the people we have put in these political positions that have authority is not putting that type of pressure on. When you can see, we get the mayor who would tell us we're $23 million in debt. Now, we just had a mayor over there sitting doing everything on his own, her own, or whatever. Okay, you could expect that anyway. The mayor ain't doing his job and he ain't keeping the accounting and doing the accounting together. But we got 7 members over there on the city council. Now I'm giving you advice, and then we talk about that term. That's why I said stupid. I'm giving you information. We got 7 members sitting over there on the city council, and their primary responsibility is to manage and oversee the budget for the city of Jackson. Now, how would you got 7 members sitting over there on the city council and they don't know that we $23 million in debt? what I'm telling you is fact. The mayor can't just go out and wantonly spend money whenever the mayor wants to. It has to go through the city council. I've had people come in this studio who can tell you actual facts. I had Senator Norwood and Representative Washington sitting right here saying that there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that's been allocated to the city of Jackson for different projects. I named off 4 or 5 of them in black and white. And why haven't we gotten that money? Because we get a mayor over there who said the white folks ain't giving us what we're supposed to get. They don't tell us that the legislature have money over there waiting for us to come and get it, but we can't get it until we do an audit and show them what we're doing with the money. So we ain't doing our part, but they want us to think that it's just because we black, we're not getting this money from the legislature. Now, how is it that we have a city council sitting there and don't know this? How is it? Then we get put people in office with authority. We got who looking at how they can get themselves rich and their partners. We got Siemens coming in here giving us water meters that we didn't need. And there are people who got really rich behind that fiasco. I'm talking about friends of the mayor. And now we got water meters that's charging people thousands of dollars a month for water. What caused that decision? Why would the city council go along with it in the first place? Here we're talking about $23 million in debt. And the city council went along with giving $33 million to a law firm out of Alabama, whether they're white or black. We got law firms in Mississippi. But besides that, we as taxpayers are paying for the city's legal department. That's their responsibility to handle contract negotiations for the city. What the excuse they gave, we needed a law firm with deep pockets that could do the negotiation. And the negotiation that came out, the city realized $7 million out of supposedly almost $90 million. And gave this law firm $33 million to come over here and sign an agreement that they didn't even put together. There's a reason that all of us know that, that's what I'm saying. We're not stupid. We know there's a reason why you find yourself in a certain situation. A stupid person can see it and never get out of it. Do it over and over and over and over again. You can tell your child or whoever, why don't you get a job? I don't need a job. By the way, can you give me $50? And this information, I know those who actually talk to me about it on the street. It's reverberating some of it. So what we're gonna do, we got a call over there, Handy? Go ahead, caller, you're on there. I appreciate it.
Good job. Inform the people. Keep them informed, Judge, because that's what we need. Now, Judge, I'm calling for 2 reasons. One is the redistricting, the lines that they proclaimed they were going to redraw on today at the old Capitol. Well, to combat that, there was an event, a very fruitful event, was a lot of people that came from out of town and very few people that participated from here in Jackson and County, which I'm real disappointed in, Judge. But there was a great number of people. It was a great event, and it sent a statement, I think, to a number of those persons that was considering redrawing the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to continue to make sure we talk about the importance of voting. You gotta get registered and you gotta vote. You gotta get registered and you gotta vote. And we're asking people, Judge, and I hope you join us, we're asking people to commit to making sure they vote as well. And of course, we want them to join us. And it's time to demand progress, like you're saying, Judge. Mm-hmm. And it's time for us to take back our power and protect, Judge, our rights and fight for our future, Judge. And you're dead right on what you're saying. And I have to agree with you as well. But yeah, the event was great. And then, Judge, tonight, this afternoon, right now, there's an event over here at the church here.
Mount Hill,
Street.
Mount Hill.
Mount Hill, that's correct. Okay. That's correct. And it is a great event as well. But we need to make sure people here in Jackson understand they and we are the people that this affect. We don't need to be making decisions after things happen. It needs to be before, doing as well, before and doing.
Right.
And
right. Absolutely.
The fact of what's being done. But Judge, thank you for taking my call. That's why I called you. Keep on that horse and ride it, Judge, all the way to the end and that fall out.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Yeah. I hear you saying, just like I hear everything saying, the vote, get registered, vote. But, you asked the question, where they think, we're not stupid, but the thing is, if you keep voting for the same people in office, you keep getting the same results. Like, I think that's why people not vote.
Well, you're making a good point there, brother. You making the point that I'm trying to say. I'm with you on that 100%. I'm glad you called up and said that. I'm with you on that 100%. Yes, sir. You got the right mentality right there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your call. Yes, and that is part of it. We put somebody in office and they think they're there for life and they haven't done anything. We can look around us and see. But then when election time comes, they're going to come and tell us a bunch of lies about what they've done and what they've tried to do, as if we don't see what we see. See, that's the definition of people who think they're dealing with stupid people. They think you don't see what you see. And you're going to keep doing what you're doing, regardless of what type of experience you experience or what information you get. And I keep saying we're not stupid. We've been uninformed and sometimes just flat out misinformed. Okay, I got a call. Okay. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Hi, Judge.
How you doing?
To the caller point that just called in about keep electing people who are not doing anything for us. In your position and with your depth of knowledge, hopefully you have ran across or run across individuals that will be great in these offices. What can we do? We need to develop our bench of candidates that we're pulling forward.
Right.
And giving them the knowledge that they need to get into these seats. Yeah, Joe Blow may be a nice person. Yeah, he or she is the salt of the earth, as our ancestors would say. Okay, but what do you know about reading a contract? What do you know about strategic planning?
There we go. Yes, sir.
What do you know about developing policy
Amen.
to ensure that certain things are not happening?
Amen, sister. Amen. Amen. I appreciate it, man. Sister, keep putting it out there. That's what this program is for. Callers like yourself. For those who are listening, you know, you can say amen to that. Because that's what it's about. You know, we're not about just putting up faces in an office. And I can guarantee you this. If you see them on this program, I have confidence in them. I'll say that, and then you can refer back and say, Chelsea, you had so-and-so on your program saying all this, that, and the other. See, that don't happen over here. That don't happen over here. A lot of programs say, well, if you pay me, I'll let you on the show. As I said at the beginning of the show, the people put this show on. The people put this show on. So the whole idea is to help us get advanced and have information from people that will help us advance. And is this a caller? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, caller, you're on there.
Good evening, San Virginia. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Now they talk about redistricting lines and eliminating Mr. Thompson's position.
Mhm.
And now when are they planning on doing it? They doing it before we get a chance to vote for him? When is it?
Yeah.
This year, November? It's gonna be, we're gonna have, let me finish. We're gonna have a chance to vote for him this year, and then they're gonna erase his position after he gets elected, if he gets elected.
Well, they got it this way. Either they can stop it this year and put it in effect this year. However, a congressperson term in office is only 2 years.
Right.
It's not for a senator. It's 6 years. So when you send someone to the Senate, they're there 6 years before you even get a chance to remove. But a congressperson has to get out there and as they say, beat the bushes to go back every 2 years. So even if we didn't put him back in this year, they looking at making it such that he won't go back in 2 years.
Right, but my point is that if they draw the lines and eliminate his position this year before the election, then he don't have a chance to even we even have a chance to even vote for it.
And you're right. I agree with you, Carl.
Okay, now my point is this: if that be the case, then I mean, no matter how many candidates we have in the second district, they wouldn't be eligible or wouldn't have an opportunity to run and fill his seat anyway.
But
we wouldn't have a chance we wouldn't have a chance of another black Democrat in the second congressional district ever again.
You explained it. You have explained that quite well. You have explained that quite well.
What would our vote be needed for? We're not going to have anyone to vote for anyway. And this game is about eliminating all our rights to vote.
Well,
my point is this.
Go ahead.
Let me finish this. Mr. Tisdale, I mean, be sarcastic. Mr. Tisdale, he's always talking about this axe now, something over. And he had a map with X drawn where these X was buried at. Do you know anything about that map?
Yeah, I never saw it. I can say that.
You know something. I'm looking for that map because I'm trying to find the match house. So that golden all the way over. He's just going to be about 5 barrels of it.
Well, let me say this to you, Carl, because I'm about to go and take some other call. But I agree with you. I agree with you and your understanding. You explained it quite well. If they redraw the line such that he can't get reelected this year, that's exactly what they're trying to do. But they do know if they redraw the lines, they got 2 years. That's not a long time. They got 2 years to try it again. You see, but what I'm saying here, Carla, is we are almost 40% of this population in Mississippi. Almost 40%. So we got to make it extremely hard for the redraw any line to just totally eliminate from the political machinery. I got another call, Carl. Thank you for calling.
Okay, I'm trying that map. And get those actions ready.
All right. Go ahead, Carl. You're on there.
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Just two quick things. All right. What people need to understand why we need to be voting is we voting now for our freedom and our benefits.
Right,
That's one thing.
right.
And then number two is everything that we have, everything that we will do, everything that our children will have, everything that they will do, your grandchildren, is governed. Whether it's governed by the city government, or it's governed by the county government, or it's governed by the state government, or it's governed by the federal government. Your computer is governed. Your cell phone is governed. Your clothes is governed. Your food is governed. Everything is governed. That's your number one reason why you should vote.
Thank you,
Because
Carl.
government is all in you.
Thank
And
you. Thank you,
You
Carl.
got to have you got to be voting. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much for calling, Carl. You're absolutely true. And see, what I'm saying too, we got a situation here in Jackson, and there are quite a few other, at least 23 other counties. We got a situation here in Jackson. We got a situation here in Hinds County where they can't do what they used to do. They can't. They can't redraw any lines in Jackson that they have a majority, or that they have a mayor, a white mayor, because that's where they draw the line. They can't do it. So we, number one, it says sweep around your own doorstep. We got to take advantage of the fact that in Jackson, as the caller just said, in Jackson, we are the government. By law, we are the government. The mayor is black. 5 members on the city council are black. The police chief is black. The fire chief is black. Superintendent of schools is black. The 7-member school board, 5 of them are black. So we wondering, why are you pointing at white folks? Why? Take care of what you got. Why are we $23 million in debt? Why have we not had an audit for the city in over 3 years? Why? Why we can look at Biloxi, a top-rated school district with 36,000 students and a budget that's $100 million less than the city of Jackson's budget, school district budget, $100 million less. They got an A-rated school district with 36,000 students. Jackson has less than 17,000 students and a budget of $433 million. And losing students. A C-rated school district with a black superintendent and 5 black members on the school board. The question becomes, why? Because they think we're stupid, or they just think we ain't got enough sense to understand what's going on. And it comes down to that. And as the caller said before that, these people should not be going back. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cab, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How about yourself?
I'm good. What you got to say, brother?
Just picking up what you just said.
Yes, sir.
We have the majority in government here in Hinds County. We have that. That's true. But now, let's look at who we have in these positions closely.
Yes, sir.
They might look like a Judge Anthony,
Yes, sir.
but I have that's in those positions are controlled by the status quo.
All right.
And see, that's where the difference come in. That's why it's so important to vote. How many of those people that have these departments that we can really count on as being one of us?
That's a good question, brother. Absolutely. And that's the one that we really should be taking a look at. You're absolutely right, man.
Right. And those are the ones we need to get out of those positions.
Yes, sir.
So we can put the ones in there that will look after the man of color and the woman of color interests as a whole.
Absolutely.
And it's still Jackson. See, these people don't represent us, Judge Anthony. If they did, then we would know about the city budget. If they did, we would know who our auditor is. If they did, we would know where our sales tax dollars are going. If they did represent us, we would have better representation. They would inform us through Facebook or other media.
Right.
How many of them do that?
Not in here, I would say.
You see, we got all these people of color that down there, but they'll tell the people that fighting against our best interest more than they tell us.
Absolutely, Cam. I got another call, brother. Thank you, brother Cam. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Hang up. Okay. Go ahead, call you on there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me to get on. So listen, African Americans have two problems, in my opinion. Oftentimes, we vote in for, if the African Americans are running, we vote for the person whom we like, not the ones who can get the job done. And the white people will always vote for the person who'll do the most harm to us. Or the it's those are two problems. How do we solve those, sir?
Yes, sir. That's a good question, brother. That's a good question. I'm gonna chime in on it. Thank you for your call. That's the nature of a program like this, brother. And I'm gonna guarantee you, if you see a person on this program, it ain't because I like them. It ain't just because I like them. Some of I'm getting to know them as you, but I know something about them before they come on here. I had this sister on here tomorrow, Grace Butler, Washington. She took Alice Clark's seat. She was willing to come in here and tell you who she is and what she's trying to do. You know, you can believe that any of them out there, I asked them, I said, I'll give you time. Come on my show and, let people call you and ask you questions that they want to ask. Come on here. Don't come on here just thinking you're going to give them a lot of spiel and leave. You're going to have to answer some questions. That's what I say to any of them that come on here. You have to answer what you've been doing, what you planning to do, where they're playing. Because obviously most of the plan that we put people in office, the only plan they have is to sit there and get accolades or to get rich. Now we can see that. I ain't got to lie to anybody about that. You can look around you and see that. And as the caller is saying, we need to really study these people who we're going to put in office. What have you been doing? Where you come from? Where have you been? Somebody around you that like you say, well, you ought to run for office. A lot of them take these positions and obviously don't even know what their responsibilities are. Now, again, the example I give you, the city council not even knowing what the budget was, not even knowing that we're in debt. That's their job. We put them there, that's their job. We should have known the first year that the mayor didn't put a budget audit together to show them. Every one of them should have been clamoring and telling the people in their wards, hey, we ain't got an audit yet. The mayor's supposed to have given us an audit. Did we hear that? As I was going to say, here you got a school district in DeSoto County with 36,000 students, a budget that's $100 million less than the city of Jackson's budget, with less than 17,000 students, and they're closing schools and underpaying teachers and bus drivers and workers. But they can pay 22 people, they used to call them assistant superintendents, I don't know what they call them now, 22 under the superintendent who's getting $300,000 a year. 22 people over there, what are they doing? And then when they said the students did better on the standardized test than they thought they supposed to, they fired 17 teachers. Right off the bat, 17. Did they fire any of those assistant superintendents? What are their jobs? What the hell were they doing? $433 million. They closed 14 schools. Do you know how much? Let's just take a look at that. Each school hiring would have 50 to 80 employees. Imagine the amount of income that would bring to the city of Jackson for these people to be working and spending their money in Jackson and Hines County. But we paying people over there with a C-rated school district big money who can't come up with these kind of ideas. Of the 14 schools that they closed, they gave all of that money, I'm calling it money because it was, the whole contract to one white contractor. Did we put them in office for that? Did we put them in office for that? We got black businesses clamoring for jobs. Did we put them in office for that? That's because they do think we stupid. Or we ain't gonna ever try to find out the fact. There's no law that would stop those people, the school board or all those superintendents they got from figuring out ways how minority businesses could get some of that work from them, straight up. Not having to go out and find some white contractor that they can work under. You know, that's going backwards. You realize after slavery, they call it the Reconstruction period, Mississippi passed the law. The state of Mississippi passed a law that every free black person had to have a letter from a white person saying that they worked for them or they would go to jail. Isn't that the same type of mentality in 2026 that black people are doing? They hope we don't find out. They think we able to, nobody's gonna pay any attention. But one person they can't count to 1,000. They really think that about us. They showing it. The 5 members on the board of supervisors, I had the comptroller in here telling us the budget for the county. There's a reason for that. I've had Eddie Fair, the county tax collector, right in here, telling us how many millions of dollars every quarter that he gives out of our tax money that goes to the city, the county, and Jackson Public School. Each one of them get a third of our money. We got the highest tax almost in the country. I think we got the highest car tax in the country. That money is split up 3 ways. Now we got a water meter company charging people $7,000 and $8,000 for water that they never got. We got water that we can't drink because 29 years ago we was having that same problem and having a mayor yet designed a program to deal with that. And city council members sitting over there doing whatever the mayor tell them to do and not telling anybody. This is the type of information that they don't want us to understand. We didn't put people over there just to look pretty. We got a black mayor and our streets undrivable. They just paid $400,000 to this white girl that ran into an open pothole and got killed, unfortunately. We're going to show the world that when you put black people in these positions of authority, things got to go backwards. We are the government. In Jackson, we are the government. It used to be, some of us who lived long enough and ain't been there long ago, know when they hired 3 black police officers, 3, and they couldn't arrest a white person. Now our whole police department is predominantly black. Fire department. But they can't get the support of the political people we put in office because they're too busy trying to figure out what contracts they can go into to make money. You see, our roads aren't fixed because they haven't found out a way to contract somebody to fix say they're going to fix the roads so that they can get the kickback. Things that we don't need, they're paying attention to. Things that are priority, we don't get taken care of. This is 2026. We tired of hearing this same old argument. The white man ain't giving me this, and the white folks ain't giving us that. We tired of hearing it. As Charles Everson said on this station, when you're in charge, be in charge. You got a budget over there that's $100 million more. Here, the city of Jackson, according to the census, have 150,000 residents. 150,000 residents. Their budget for the last year was $323 million. They had to run every agency and every function of this city out of $323 million. Jackson Public Schools had a budget of $434 million. $434 million. And less than 17,000 students. And they closing school. And they think the superintendent deserves a raise when he's telling us they don't have enough money to pay the teachers the type of salaries that we would get top-rate teachers wanting to come and teach in our school. They don't want us to understand that. Lowest paid teachers in the state. And they think we're going to get top-rate teachers. We got, according to the census, we got 36,000 children in Jackson between the age of 5 and 18. We got 38,000 children in the city of Jackson between the age of 5 and 18. School-age children. Less than 17,000 of them are in our public schools. Where are the rest of them? Are we saying their parents can afford for them to go to private school? What the rest of them? We talk about the gang problem. When the last time you seen a drug bust in Jackson? You know where gang problems come from? Drug activity. Drug activity. The masterminds behind the drug industry understand that you put the young people out on the street selling the drugs, the young teenagers, joining the gangs. That's been happening for 50 years. We ain't figured that out yet. Our children going to prison. 40% of the population, less than 38% of the population, and 68% of the prisoners in prison. 68%. I wouldn't think that all our children are just that bad, or all of us are just that bad, or than white folk. 68% of the people in Mississippi prisons are black. And then you got white folks saying we ain't putting enough of them in prison. Instead of our schools or in our community developing programs to keep our children out of prison. Programs to help parents become better parents with all that money. They want us to be stupid. They want us to be dumb. We've been uninformed. But we can do better. We can do better, and we're going to do better. I believe that. See, like I said, you can count on the devil to overdo it. You can count on it. And the devil's always going to put enough pressure on you till you just can't stand it no more. Look around you. Look at your own life and see if that's true. So we are taking a look at this situation. I hear we having people are having community meetings now to encourage people to vote. That's what we're talking about. Register and vote. They are afraid of that. They want to make you think it don't make any difference. Excuse me. They want us to think it don't make any difference. We don't get the same old. But when we become sophisticated enough, aware enough to put the right people in these offices, we'll get what our money is paying for. Right now, we ain't getting what our money is paying for. That's a fact. Now, I be wondering, as I say, when I come here, for those people who are trying to catch me on Facebook, I got my Facebook page up. All of a sudden, there's a disconnect. That's not an accident, people. That's not an accident. It used to be when I first came on here, we couldn't get the calls right. Couldn't get the calls, That's not an accident, people. If I was sitting here telling you a bunch of crap, I wouldn't have any problems. I promise. But when I'm sitting here saying we're putting people in office who don't understand our children mean something to us, and our children shouldn't be going to prison because they don't have the resources that we pay taxes for them to have, that could redirect them, that our streets are undrivable. They want us to think voting don't count. That's what they want. That's the reason during the late 30s and early 40s. They were running black people out of the South. That's the reason. Unfortunately, I'm down to my last few minutes. I'm unable to take calls at this point. But remember, this is a call-in show. I thank you for all the calls I got tonight. And when you call in, just be mindful that when I'm down to the last 5 minutes, we have agreed, those of us that come on the air, that we wouldn't be taking calls during that time because we encroach on the person's or the people's time that's coming after us. So we're going to keep it like that. How much time I got over there, Lady Cherie, so I'll know? I got 2 minutes? Okay. Well, then I appreciate the calls that we got. And we're going to try to keep it in that manner because I got people waiting to come in the studio. But remember, voting counts. Voting counts. Register to vote and vote. There's a reason why there's 68% of us in prison. And when you go to prison, they take away your voting rights. There's a reason for that. I refuse to believe that that's just because we just that bad. We outnumber white folks in the prison 3-1. I refuse to believe that. And the people we put in these political offices with the authority and the power that they have over our money and over the laws and how they're enforced, we need the right people in office. We need the right people in office. And the people with the money is always going to put the ones out there, put the most money in somebody's campaign. Because they want to keep what they got. And that's a fact. So I'm on the air every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m., 7 to just before 8. And we're going to try to get this Facebook connection together here. But I am on YouTube. You can go to Standing for the People. Go to Standing for the People. I'm on YouTube. Okay. And listen to them. And this is WMPR 90.1, Standing for the People. Take us out, Lady Cherie.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great. Did you have a good show?
I believe so. I had some